and welcome back to my second episode of my walkthrough of the Legends of Andor Part 2, Voyage North. We are about to begin our second day here, and our heroes are actually not doing too bad. For once we have visited 2 of the 4 capitals already, or 2 of the 3 capitals already. There is still the City of Ruins up northeast, but I think still we have to visit those 4 locations, and we also managed to discover the location of the Trader Trough guards here. Unfortunately, the first creatures arrived in Hadria here, so for once we have those scores. I think everyone who knows the base game is familiar with them, but then we also have those Naraxes here, for example, which are definitely not so easy as the standard Gords, not to speak about those nasty Aroks over there. Luckily right now there is only one, but as far as I can remember there will be at least one more coming up. Just as a reminder for the rules, each creature that is on a land space will reduce our fame by 1 point, and if our fame track ever drops down to 0 fame points, we will immediately lose this game. Additionally, each monster that will come to a capital here, and there can be more than just one creature on these spaces, will also increase the fame by 1 point. And this is really something that you will see occur quite a lot in the part 2 or in this expansion. Chana will start this day again, and I think this is basically a no-brainer. We will spend 1 hour. Of course, we will take Granulant with us. For once, we will replenish, or we will deplete this little well here, which will give us 1, 2, 3 willpower points. We check out the healing herb. That's 4. That's not too bad. And of course, we will go for these, or for this seashell here, because with this seashell, okay, that's a value of 0. I think we don't really have to care about this one, though this shell doesn't have any value. Normally, we would be able to sell those shells up there in Silverhall, and depending on the value, you would gain gold, willpower, or fame points. Right now, I feel tempted to grab those shells here as well and directly sell it back to Silverhall. Right now, there's not too much going on the board, so I think we can take the risk here. Let's spend 1-2 hours. Let's check out the shell. Come on, that's a shell worth only 1. So I'm not sure if I will take it back, to be honest. If it would have a value of 2, then I would definitely sell it, because with 2 you can always buy something here in Andor or Hadria. But I think with 1 shell, of course, we will take it, but we will not travel back to Silverhall. Back to Chada. Chada will spend 2 hours, 1 and 2, 3 and 3 and 4, in order to check out the Gift of the North here, and this is the Thievish Marten, which you can use once per day, and you can use it before a fight round to steal a die from the enemy creature. This die can be used for the heroes, or by the heroes. That's basically pretty cool. Unfortunately, it must not be used against any end bosses, but I think as I will try to take out some Gors, we will definitely take this Marten. Of course, we must not forget to spend 4 of her hours on the day track. Back to Stinner. Stinner will enter the Aldebaran with 1 hour. As of his free action, he will move the Aldebaran 1 space adjacent to this space. He will spend another hour to move the Aldebaran 1, 2, 3 spaces down there. That's the current wind speed in direction of southeast, and I really want to reach this space here in order to upgrade the Aldebaran. Unfortunately, we will not make it easily. So let's see. I think we cannot help it. So we will spend 1 more hour. I will do that here, and then in another hour to move this one here. Then we will upgrade the Aldebaran. So I will pay 2 gold coins. I will flip this figurehead here. This is, I think, one of the most coolest items on the Aldebaran, because as soon as a hero is placed here, this hero gets a +4 strength during a fight, as long as he's on this position and on the Aldebaran, of course. Next, I want to fight this Gor here with Chada. So we will move her 1 space ahead. Here we have to encounter the fog token. And we lose 2 points of willpower. Dinner wants to join Chada, I think. So yeah, he's spending 1 hour to move the Aldebaran 1-2 spaces here, and still he has his free action now, so he will move the Aldebaran 1 more space ahead. So I think maybe he might make it close to this island in the next day. Chada will use her special ability, which allows her to attack enemy creatures that are adjacent to her, so she does not have to be on the same space. So she will fire some arrows towards this score here, and of course she will use her Thievish Martin for the first fight round, so we would steal the gore 1 die, which we will be able to use our own. Let's check out the stats of the gore here. He has a strength of 2, that's not really great. He has 4 willpower points, and he would provide us 2 gold, 2 willpower, or 2 fame in any combination we like. Normally he would throw 2 dice, but as we just stole him 1, he has to live with only 1 die, which is definitely a good thing. Let's do some fighting now. With 8 points of willpower, Chada normally would be allowed to roll 4 dice, but as we've stole the gore 1, we would be allowed to roll all 5 dice. But her special ability also says she has to roll her dice 1 after each other and then decide which roll she would take. So she cannot just roll her 5 dice and then decide for the highest one. She always has to decide if she wants to stop rolling now or if she wants to take a chance and to re-roll. Let's see, let's roll her first die. That's a 1, we will definitely not use it. Let's roll the second die. That's a 5. I think we will stop with a 5, and we would add her 4 strength points, so she lands on 9 attack points basically. Now we will see what the gore is rolling. He only has 1 die and can add 2 to that result. That's a 2 plus 2, that's 4. We subtract the 9 from Chada's attack roll, which is absolutely enough to defeat our first monster in Hadria. Awesome! Okay, this guy goes down, it goes to space 90. Remember, before the narrator moves, there have to be at least 2 creatures on this space. Right now we are safe, but still we would be allowed to gain a reward. And I think in this case I will just take the 2 fame points, because we will definitely need them. Now it would be the turn of Stinner again, and I think he will call it a day. So we will take his chip and place it on this space, so he will start the next day. And I think Chada will also not take any overtime. Or should she? That's tricky. That's tricky. No, I think she won't, because then she would lose another die. So let's call it a day for her as well and finish the day. Let's reveal the next wind cards. Let's get rid of this one. Oh, and here we have a storm. One hero rolls the red dice and places the ship on the sea spade with the appropriate result. Let's do that. This will happen all the time. That's a 2. And the 2 is all the way up, down in the south here. That's definitely something where we don't want to end up. Come on, that's really not so good. The good thing is we would roll, or we would draw another wind card. So let's see what we get here. Okay, that's a normal wind situation. Yeah, something we have to see what we will make out of that. Then we move the gores, and the gores will just move according to those lines or arrows here. So this guy will go there. And we are kind of lucky, as this guy won't move anywhere. He would stay where he is, so he's not moving towards any capital, so we don't lose an additional fame point, but still we have to get rid of them as soon as possible. Let's move the Neraxes first. And last but not least, the Arok closer to Wharftown here. Right now we have 2 creatures on land spaces here, which would mean we are losing 1-2 fame points accordingly. Let's replenish the well here, and we also will be able to replenish the Thievish Martin here, which we hopefully can use during our next day. Let's see. And of course we will have to move the narrator here, and a little star shows us we have to trigger the next legend card. dark silhouettes were shining through the surface of the sea. Let's play some more creatures. So we will have a sea troll now on 2 and 3, and then another Arok on space number 4. Let's do that. One sea troll goes here, and another sea troll goes here. He will really be covered by this giant one, so let's move him aside a little bit. And additionally, we will have to place another Arok here on this space. Latin 4. Some of the heroes were thinking of the cartographer. Would they be able to find him? Would he still be alive? Time was running out. And there's a little reminder here to say you have to find Merrick before the narrator reaches space V on the legend track. Stinner will start the day, and he will use his free action to place the Aldebaran one space adjacent, and he will use the current wind speed of 2 in the direction of northwest to move the Aldebaran 2 spaces here. He's still adjacent to this land space 105, so later on Chada and Granolin will be able to visit him possibly there. Let's visit Stormwell. So we will use 1 hour and we'll take our 3rd star here and read the Stormwell card accordingly. As soon as the hero reached the valley, the stormy sea got quiet and the wind slowly ceased. Welcome to Stormwell, the heroes could hear a deep voice saying. It was a terrace. These giant creatures with goat-like horns populated Stormwell, mainly retired from the rest of the world. Each hero who ends his movement on space 140, basically the capital of Stormwell, can raise his willpower up to 14. And then it says, just continue reading when you have read all 4 arrival cards and if you already discovered cards. Right now, 1 star is missing, so we will be reading ahead here. But of course, we will raise the willpower for Jada to 14, which means she can take some serious overtime this day, and this might be important. Let's move Stinner somewhat further. So I think, let's use his free movement to move the Aldebaran to this space. Then we will use the wind strength here, 1, 2 space. That's 1 hour we've just used. Then I will use another hour, 1, 2 and 3, and I think let's move a 3rd hour to move the Aldebaran here, and then Chada might make it from this direction onto the Aldebaran. Yeah, let's see. I think we will. Should we do that? Should we care about those fog tokens here? I think not, because then we would lose another hour for Stinner. No. Let's move Chada and Granolin 1, 2 spaces onto the Aldebaran. And I think we will use an additional hour to move the Aldebaran 1, 2, 3 spaces up here, which will cost her an additional hour, which shouldn't be any problem. And I just figured something out. When I defeated the Go, I would have gained an additional fame point because Granolin was with me, so that's definitely important. So we can raise our fame track or move the bard 1 space ahead, which is definitely a good thing. Stinner will move to the City of Ruins. For once, we can take this one here. That's the compass. I already knew that it had to be the compass, which he definitely will take, and this is a pretty good artifact, that's for sure. We also can take the healing herbs. That's 3. That's also not entirely bad. And we can have a look at those shell here. That's a value of 2, which is something we would have needed a little bit earlier. Then we would be able to leverage the Aldebaran a little bit better. Okay, nevertheless, we entered the City of Ruins here, so let's read the appropriate card. Welcome, hero from distant Andor. I see you came here to help me. The shimmering blue vision was continuing. You're looking for the cartographer. In the ruins of the castle of Veritan the Seeking, you will not find him. You have to continue your quest. Now we can continue because we have read all the arrival cards and we have found guards. So let's see what he also has to tell us. Maybe I can provide you a lead. I saw a ship.
that was ambushed by a gruesome creature. I can tell you where you find the spot, but I hope that this is not the ship you are looking for. I fear no one survived this tragedy. Now we have to roll a black die and see where to place the Hardok, the ship of the cartographer. That's the 6. Oh, and 6 is not entirely bad, because it's actually not too far away from us. Awesome. Well, after speaking to us, this vision will be taken from the board. We still have this little gore here, and I think I will definitely want to take him out. Let's do that. Yeah. I think Chada will try to defeat this gore herself, because she still has her Martin, which she will use, and I don't want to spend an additional hour for Stinner, because I really think we should travel back to Silverhall and sell a shell in order to upgrade the Aldebaran one more time. I think this is really important. So yeah, let's do that. Let's do some fighting. So reset the willpower track for the gore here. Again, we will flip our Martin. Before the fight, of course, I will place Chada here on the figurehead, because this would give her +4 strength. Again, we have stolen a die from the gore, so we would now be allowed to roll 6 dice. This is really not bad. So let's start with the stolen one. The sweetest, that's a 3. I think we will continue rolling. 6, yeah, perfect. So we keep it as a 6. In total, she has now 6 plus 4 plus that's 14. I think there's not really a chance that the gore will be able to, to defeat Chada. So yeah, this guy is definitely dead. So we place him down here, which means the narrator will move 1 space ahead. And I think for our reward, I will take 2 gold coins. Stinner will come back to the Aldebaran from here. And he's still allowed to use his free action, because right now he is on the Aldebaran, so he will move the Aldebaran 1 space here to the west. This was basically 1 hour, and I think he will use 1 additional hour to move the Aldebaran 1 and 2 spaces here. And I think from here he will more or less stop, because the rest will be done by Chada, who has more than enough willpower points. Yeah, let's do that now. So 1 hour for Chada will move us to the space where the Hardok is. Awesome! It was a sad sight. The broken hull of a huge ship was bobbing up and down on the water. No doubt, it was the Hardok. It seemed no one survived the tragedy. Suddenly, one of the heroes discovered a man in the wreck. Fast, they got him on board the Aldebaran. It was Merrick the cartographer, and he was still alive. So let's put Merrick on board of the Aldebaran. We will get to know what to do with him later on. For now we have him with us, which is important. And then for some more flavor text. Next, the Aldebaran seemed to capsize. An unbelievable figure appeared from the deep of the sea. "A sea giant!" one of the heroes screamed. Then the figure disappeared underwater. So we will place the sea giant on the V of the legend track, and as soon as the narrator enters this space, we will learn about the location of the sea giant. Let's do that now. The sea giant is really a relatively tall feller, so if you compare him to an Arok, okay, the Arok is more or less the same size, but I think he's a little bit taller than all of the other guys, so he's a giant after all. I think Stinner will take 1 hour overtime, so we will take our 8th hour here, and therefore we'll lose 2 points of willpower. Again, for his free action, he will move the Aldebaran down there, and the current wind speed in direction of south is 3. So let's move the ship 1, 2, 3 spaces to the south, and we might be really able to move the Aldebaran here to Wharf Town in order to upgrade the ship one more time, which might be important. Yeah, let's do that. But first of all, we will use the Hadrian compass here in order to rotate the wind card 90 degrees. So, and I think I will go in this direction here, so at least we have some speed when traveling southwest. Then Chada will spend 1 hour to move the Aldebaran 1, 2, spaces here. She has to take 1 hour overtime to move the ship 2 spaces there. So the first hour of overtime brought her here, and I think we will take 1 additional hour of overtime to move the Aldebaran onto this space, and now we will be able to upgrade the ship. Again, we will spend $2, and this time we take the ballista with us, and let's put Stinner on the ballista. And the ballista is pretty cool because you can sum up your 2 last rolling dice, which is definitely a good thing. And this is additional, or let's say some deviation from the normal combat route. Each time you're fighting from the Aldebaran, you have to follow the rules of the Ranger, so you only are allowed to roll 1 die at a time, and then you have to decide which die to take. With the ballista, you will be able to sum up your last 2 dice. Now it's the turn of Stinner. He will call it a day and will be the first player for the next day. Chowder will do the same, and then we run through the dawn phase basically. Again, we will reveal a new wind card, and this time it's not a storm. We have a good wind into direction of north. Then we will move the Gore 1 space closer to Silverhole here. We will move this Nerax and this one. Then we would move the Cave Troll, so he cannot be here, so he has to be moved here, and this Sea Troll will move here. Next we would move the Arok. This one goes here, but it cannot stay where he is, so he has to move down there. And last but not least, this Arok will also move closer to the island of Stormwell. Right. Now we come to the Bard phase, so let's count all creatures on a land space. So that's 1, 2, and 3. An additional one is here, so we would lose 4 fame points. I'm really not thinking about this guy moving over directly into Wharf Town here. Well, that's really kind of a problem, because we only have 1 more fame point left here, but still we are doing okay, I guess. So really have to do some fighting in the next round. I really have to take out 1 or 2 creatures. For once this will increase my fame, which is a good thing, and we would not lose additional fame points because of those creatures on the land spaces. Let's replenish our Martin and our compass and move the narrator 1 space up, so we have to read Legend Card S. Fish and other sea creatures were washed ashore. Some of them badly hurt. Others left the sea without purpose and were dying on the shore. It seems they were fleeing from something. Okay, let's have some more creatures. We have a Sea Troll on 3 and an additional Arok on space 4. Okay, here we have the Sea Troll and another Arok here. So this is really not a very good situation. I really should have done more fighting. And I remember I did more fighting when I played this scenario the first time. Okay, let's see what we might be able to do with that. But I think I will stop my walkthrough of the Legend of Andor here, and hope I really showed you most of the components, at least those components that are referring to the first legend of this awesome expansion. But there's so much more in the box, so many additional creatures and friends, so many additional legend cards and special scenario rules and stuff like that. So really we only have scratched the surface a little bit. I'm really not sure if I will continue this walkthrough again. I don't want to spoil you the whole legend here, and hope you are fine with that, and hope to see you soon in one of my next videos. Until then, bye bye.